of a cash.
I get it, and I'm excited. I am very excited for this fight. Listen, this fight had to happen, right? I mean, a lot of people are freaking out about, how can they make this fight happen after what Conor did? I mean, the fight was going to happen, and you want to see the fight. I mean, come on. Yeah, Conor screwed up. Absolutely. But you still want to see the fight. I want to see the fight. I think this is the fight you have to make happen. Listen, you have Khabib Nurmagomedov, an absolute Dagestani juggernaut, a guy that when he's focused on taking you down and beating you up, he can do it. And he can do it against anybody, I believe, all the way up to 170 pounds, most likely. And Conor McGregor, a guy who just might be the only guy at 155 pounds who could expose that striking weakness of Khabib Nurmagomedov and actually make him pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay? So he has the ability to land that shot that you don't see. He has the ability to counter you. He has the ability to move off that center line and land that fight-ending shot, unlike anybody in that division. And I don't think that Conor McGregor really is as appreciated as you'd think. He's appreciated because of the kind of stuff that he says and the star that he is. But as far as his fighting technique, he's just not appreciated in mixed martial arts like he should be. He's such a technical striker. You look at what he's done. I mean, are people forgetting that he just destroyed Jose Aldo in a mere 12 or 13 seconds? The fact that he beat Max Holloway, the fact that he came back to beat Nate Diaz, not at 155 pounds, which was an option for him. But he said, no, I'm going to rematch you at 170 pounds, and I'm going to beat you. And he did that against a massive and dangerous style matchup in Nate Diaz. So this is a guy who is very dangerous. Does he have something to offer him on the ground? Probably not. For Conor, if he gets taken down, he's going to have to go into survival mode. Yeah. I mean, I think there's ways to counter Khabib. They're few and far between. There's certain things you can do, but you better be very high level and elite in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world. Conor isn't that yet. However, I think he could stop a few takedowns. He can get him tired, and he will not stop. We have to go back to that Chad Mendes fight where he was getting taken down. He was exhausted. He had a terrible knee injury. He was flying all over the place. One of the most brutal weight cuts you can make, cutting down to 145 pounds. And he went out there and got the result by finish. So he's a guy that's very determined. Now, he's got about $90 million in his bank account. That changes things a little bit. How is his mindset? How is his fighter mindset and fighter focus? I don't know. I still think that for Conor McGregor, he has a lot of fight in him. He has a lot to still prove to himself. I still think he loves this game. So I think he's the only guy who can knock out Khabib Nurmagomedov.
All right, Khabib Nurmagomedov minus 200. Conor McGregor coming back at plus 160. That is the opening odd. I believe that if you want to bet on Conor McGregor, you should do so now, because I think there are a lot of bettors, European, Irish bettors, public bettors, that are going to see a plus number next to Conor McGregor's name, and they're going to blindly fire. And I think there are a lot of people who bet on Conor McGregor almost at whatever price, right? I also think if you're going to bet on Khabib Nurmagomedov, you're wise to wait, because I think you're going to do better than minus 200 at some point in time. Yeah. I'm not going to make you make a pick here 62 days out from this mega fight, Ken Flo. But I believe when we get to our show the first week of October that you're going to pick the precision of Conor McGregor over the power and the dominant nature of Khabib Nurmagomedov. I think when we get there that you're going to land on the McGregor side. Forced to lean for our listeners today. Do you have a lean?
I just might. I could. I don't have a choice that I want to spit out right now.
Okay, that's okay.
But I will say this. Khabib's approach is a much safer approach, and there's a reason why this guy is he 26-0? Is that the number?
That is right. Yep.
26. There's a reason why this guy's 26-0. You don't get 26-0. You don't get that record by just going out there and striking. That's a very difficult thing to do. But if you largely come behind a grappling game plan with tremendous wrestling skills, excellent control, know how to really take guys out of their game and really nullify the guard like he does, you can get to 26-0 and not take a lot of damage doing it. So he does have a great chin as a backup. If he does get hit, he can take a shot and keep coming. But again, if there's one guy who could put his lights out, because that's what you're going to have to do if you fight Khabib Nurmagomedov, you're going to have to put him to sleep with your fist or with your shin or your elbow, whatever it is. Conor McGregor is that guy, and that's what makes this fight so fascinating. You add in the layers, the fact that these guys, what Conor did in New York, the fact that they do not like each other, Khabib, and his little beef that he has with Artem Lobov, Conor McGregor's close friend. And this is, like you said, perhaps the biggest fight in UFC history.
And we will probably spend at least 2 minutes on it every show from now until October. But UFC 227, the big news this week, and now with us on the guest line. Amado probably hasn't stopped smiling since Saturday night. Decorated wrestler in his own right, 7-time Armed Forces champion, former Pan Am champ, 3-time national champ, and one of the most outstanding MMA coaches in the world, who this past weekend helped the great Henry Cejudo realize a UFC championship. The captain, Eric Albarracin, is with us. Eric, congrats, my man. How are you this morning?
I'm on cloud nine. Thanks, John Annis, for having me.
It's a pleasure, man, and it's overdue. I'm excited for you guys, genuinely, in my core. I'm excited for you. What have the last 48 hours been like after your guy broke through and won that UFC flyweight title?
Wow, it's been a whirlwind. No sleep, eating a little bits of junk food. We're actually in Beverly Hills right now. Yeah. We stayed at the Peninsula. Henry's mentor, Dave Zowine, got us a place here. And we'll probably be heading back to Arizona, but mostly a lot of media, social media, and just reveling in the moment, cherishing this memory.
Well, I know when you're underslept, it's basically like being drunk, so we're not going to keep you too long today, my man. But as far as the fight was concerned, and then we'll get to all the big picture stuff for Henry and with your career, close fight. But all of us at the broadcast table, for whatever that's worth, thought Henry did enough to win this fight 3-2. What was your mindset when this fight went to the cards?
You know what? I've been in fights where I thought my fighters have won, and then they get robbed. So I didn't know. I thought he did enough, but I wasn't sure what each individual coach was thinking. So it was like I felt like I was winning the lottery, waiting for that last number to be called.
Yeah. Right.
And we just went wild. So it was definitely close.
Did you guys Eric, how you doing, man? First of all, congratulations. You've been with Henry for such a long time, man. It must have been an amazing feeling. But do you feel like you guys did what you wanted to do in training and preparation for this fight against Demetrius, or were there things that were kind of left on the table?
No, we turned over every stone. We went to Brazil, we went to Holland, we went to Singapore, we got sports psychologists, we got the science down. I mean, I even went as far as to studying Matt Hume like I was studying for a final exam. I had one of our Neuroforce video editors, the guy who works for Neuroforce One, they got every Matt Hume 1 minute interval between rounds. Just the interval, just what he tells them, not the actual fight, just the intervals. There's like 50 minutes of it that I had. And I was actually watching that the day of the fight because I wanted to be reading his mind and knowing exactly how he's going to try to adapt to Henry Cejudo. And I could see part of it. I could see what he was doing. And I was yelling stuff out to Henry that I thought maybe that they were, according to the adaptations they were making between each round.
How bad was Henry's ankle after that first round, man?
Oh, my God. I thought it was over in the first 20 seconds. My heart dropped, and I just thought, wait a minute, this guy's in the best shape of his life. He wants this more than anything. It's not going to be over. I thought maybe him switching to southpaw could have left him open for that another straight punch or kick to the head in a base that he's not used to, but thank God it all worked out.
Eric, how long have you been working with Henry? I just want you to kind of explain your history with Henry from the beginning a little bit.
In 2004, he came to the Olympic Training Center as a sophomore in high school, and I was already at the Olympic Training Center training. I believe I was a lieutenant in the Army at the time, and just, I saw him and his brother as, people kids from Arizona, and I saw a little bit of myself in them. Oh, he's 103 pounds when he first came. And I just, sometimes these guys come to the Olympic Training Center and they get lost or forgotten about, and maybe they hang out with a lot older people and they start following the wrong things. And I just wanted to be a mentor and say, listen, I've done these things wrong. Don't follow and don't make the same mistake as I did. I usually don't say I'm always right, but I usually tell them I've done this wrong and don't do that. I suggest you don't follow in my footsteps. So that's kind of the way I kind of mentored him and how I saw him when I met him in 2004, and then 4 years, that same year, he's already beaten me in the wrestling room. And I was like, wow, maybe I should think about retiring if I'm moving to a high school kid. And then I went and just retired. And then by then I was a captain in the Army, and me and him just became great friends, him and his brother. His brother Angel has always been the carrot in front of Henry that he's been chasing, and both of those guys are like brothers to me.
And Eric, if there's one thing, obviously he brings so many different talents to the table, but is there one thing that really stands out in Henry Cejudo that really told you this guy's something special? What is that thing?
It's got to be his belief. It's got to be his mind. I mean, even in this camp, we had ups and downs in the camp, and he had different coaches giving him different advice, and he would just say, I got this. Believe me, don't be so worried. I'm an Olympic champion. I've been through adversity. I love these kinds of moments. This kind of pressure doesn't bother me. And we just had to sit back and believe him, and he was right. He lives for this moment. He thrives in these moments, and that's what happened Saturday night. From the first round to overcoming almost a broken ankle, to going out in the fifth round and having more cardio than Demetrius Johnson, and beating the pound-for-pound greatest fighter of all time to win the UFC gold 10 years after winning the Olympic gold. I mean, we may never see that again in history.